the live system, they want to put me to the new dashboard, which would be great if the new dashboard was finished. Like, they really want to push the beta product, and this is an aggravation as a YouTuber. So welcome to Vlog Thursday, episode 133. But what they've done over at the folks at YouTube, and this is just kind of weird, they've decided that they keep on a push it beta dashboard. Every time you want to go out of the beta dashboard, which it keeps defaulting you to, you have to tell them why. And I keep saying, because it's not finished. Like, it won't do the things I need it to do. And it's kind of a real aggravation because I only really use a couple things. You upload videos, you put an end screen on said videos. Once you put an end screen on the video, sometimes you want to do a live stream. Those are the functions that are broke. The cool thing is the new dashboard has really fancy analytics. Thumbs up for really in-depth fancy analytics that I look at occasionally because I'm not watching every, going, ooh, did I get 10 more views today than yesterday? It gives you all that. I mean, it's kind of cool to look at, but from a functional standpoint, that's where I really care. Function over form, maybe, because I need to get things done, and yeah. So that just caused a 1 minute delay of me clicking in circles. Whatever, it happens. So I don't know how long I'll wear these because they may make my head itch. I'm not used to wearing a lot of stuff on my head. Anyways, I should probably turn my phone off. All right. Phone is off. Vlog Thursday's live, and I got fun stuff to talk about. So, howdy, hello. We got Florida man, Possum Jenkins. That sounds like a good Florida name. Hello from Michigan. Honored to be here. Ooh, awesome. We got fellow Michiganders here. UK, checking in from all over. Denver. Nice. Tom is fake news. Yeah, probably. We'll go with that. What else we got? Pittsburgh. Next time. Yes, Pittsburgh's pretty cool. I love your city. Definitely going to go visit there again. Australia. I would like to visit Australia, but it's very far away, and I don't like riding in planes that long. South Africa, same answer. It sounds like a cool place to go, but very far away, and I don't like long plane rides. And boat rides don't sound good either, so until we work out the transporter, because yes, I'm a Trekkie, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to visit there anytime soon, or willingly, I don't know. You could pay me to go, I guess, but DC, Norway, woohoo. Waiting on an I Am Root shirt. Oh, yeah. We're going to be doing some updates because I realized that YouTube, once again, so we're using Teespring and they work because they'll do international shipping, but they're not always displaying the t-shirts, so I'm going to redo on all 800 videos the little bottom screen where the description is that'll have links directly to some of the shirts and things like that right there to make it easier to find. So definitely going to be making some improvements there. I'm also going to be making some overall improvements. Shout out to Chris from Crosstalk because I seen he was using it. Me and him chatted, and I'm using now the Kit system, kit.com. The last couple of videos I did have a kit in there, and it actually makes it easier for us to list out the products that we use. It makes it easier for you to find those products, and we can link to them in a very concise manner, and when the links get broken, we can fix the kit without having to go back and re-edit the videos, which is actually very tedious. So shout out to Chris from Crosstalk for turning me on to that. So we and him talked about it, and definitely really great. I use TubeBuddy as well. That's definitely something I use for doing that exact type thing. I'm also, since we've redone so much of sections on my website, I'm going to have all the affiliate links on there and things like that. That way, if you're ever looking for something, and if I have an offer code active at the moment, we keep that page constantly up to date. So instead of trying to constantly update any type of affiliate offers or deals I may have, they're always going to be on the affiliate page, and we're going to have the affiliate page direct linked, which I just didn't realize because I don't always pay attention to these details, that it wasn't in there. These are details Tom skips over occasionally. Hell, I've been a TubeBuddy affiliate for a long time. That's been on our website for a long time. I don't think zero times have I ever mentioned it because I'm not the best at that type of marketing. That's not my skill set. And I've even talked about it. So here's something weird, and they never reached back to me, so I'm not even going to say the company's name. A company reached out to me wanting to help manage certain aspects of, well, two of them now have reached out wanting to handle aspects of my affiliate marketing and some of the deals and stuff like that. And I'm fine to use an outside company for these things. They're going to take a cut of it. but they'll probably do a better job of staying on top of it than I will. They're bad about following up. Like, you follow up with them and they'll get back with you next week. They cancel meeting appointments and things like that. And I've had 2 companies. I mean, I guess money's so good in that market, they don't need to follow up. One of them, my friend who has a much, much bigger platform, he's using this company, and he told me they're like that with him. Like, they get back with him in spurts of being really actively engaged, and then sometimes not. It's a weird market to try to figure that out. It just becomes an aspect of the business that I have so many other things I'm managing that I don't know that I care as much about managing that particular aspect. But I've been doing it, so I will continue to do it because these people who don't reply. Then someone reached out to me that was a personal assistant, but none of their services can do, they don't know how to do any of the things I need them to do, so I can't hire them to do any of those things. And I've thought about, I'm always looking to delegate and outsource certain aspects of things, but that's not always rational or easy to do due to the highly technical nature of things. People are like, well, I can help you respond to all those contacts. I'm like, really? I have to delegate that to my other techs. If they don't have enough techs having us, they're not able to reply because the questions were, setting up a iSCSI server, what's your quote for doing this? Another bigger quote that I'm going to be finishing is someone who met through the channel, could be watching now, and we got your numbers together. I just need to send them over tomorrow. But they're a whole setting up a series of a VDI solution and migrating, as they call lift and shift, and building out cloud infrastructure. So it's a bigger project. It's quite a few hours. So that's a coordinated quote that I'll be putting together. It's not something that I could just delegate out to a secretary to answer, so to speak. Anyone who is involved in that has to be quite technical to be able to do so. Let's see. Do you think Invoice Ninja will ever become a full accounting suite? Not really. I don't think their goal is to become a full accounting suite. I don't think it's on their roadmap to try to do that. The problem is when you start building out there are really big fully open source accounting suites. But everyone starts going, well, they're more challenging to use. I'm like, yeah, they are. It's an entire, ERP package with every possible thing and the kitchen sink, as they say, thrown in. So yeah, it's got a steep learning curve. I don't find my methodologies, and I was thinking about doing it because I have to finish my accounting tonight or tomorrow. And I've done videos of my accounting before. I got to see what's changed because I'll have to rewatch the video, and I'll just know by how old the video is. But I've talked about this process. I just take the short answer of what I do. I grab my 2 bank accounts that we have. We have 2 separate bank accounts. I take all the money from those bank accounts, download QIF files. I import them into Kdenlive, and I do a reconciliation. That's it. And I keep telling people, me, well, you need this, and I'm like, why? I've been in business for 16 years. We're profitable. And how do you know you're profitable? There's a good question you might want to ask there. Is how do you know you're profitable? But you can figure that out. I do monthly P&Ls. I know from profit and loss standpoints. But then someone says, well, you need to break down your job costs for each job. I'm like, yeah, I can look at it from a per job basis. So, and the overall, of course, is the company because of all the outgoing expenses. And that becomes complicated no matter how big or small the company. Those are things that are complicated to figure out, but once you have a process and methodology, it works. And just using the KMI money with 2 QIF files being imported, and then manually, because I write checks, I do have to reconcile the couple checks we write. And someone says, well, it doesn't have check integration. I'm like, yeah, but I don't really need it. I mean, I write 6 checks a month. We do wire transfers and everything else. Anytime matter of fact, today, had to wire up money for a large purchase. Between credit cards or wire transfers, like direct bank type transfers, we just don't write checks for anything. The lease on the building is a check because he doesn't do wire transfers. The current way the leasing system works for that. And that's actually becoming a shuffle for another purchase. That's a whole nother topic that I'll get into when the deal's all closed. So, let's see. Someone says, did I fart? No. But I can, not on demand though. I am fine. Team Rampage Services. Let's see. Yeah. Someone says, I like it. That's not an accounting platform. So, let's see. Hang in there. Currently working on HackerOne. 8-shop skills. Cool. Looking for Pi signage to run, use Knox, like dashboard, display wall. Not sure how to script handle web page. Required any ideas? build out the knock wall on a web page and then just feed it into. You don't even really need Pi signage for that. I mean, if you just wanted whatever you want to do the knock wall with, just build the web page and put the web page in a browser and set it to auto refresh. Yeah, I don't think you need the Pi signage for that. You could use it. It seems like you're actually overcomplicating it. Bitcoin, no, nobody. Yeah, farts as a service. Why not? Bitcoin. I have nobody that really wants to accept Bitcoin, so I don't really use it. And the volatility of digital currency makes it less practical because you always have to think about the exchange rate for it. Not that that's hard, super difficult, but it obviously adds more challenge to it because we hold our money generally in U.S. dollars. So not holding it U.S. dollars, it becomes like an asset with a greatly variable depreciation or appreciation, depending on how the market feels about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, it's not that I think Bitcoin's bad, but it comes back to the problem I always have with cryptocurrency. What problem does it solve? I know what problem it's set out to solve, but it didn't solve it. Therefore, it doesn't. It's a cool way to make some money, and I'm not saying it's not that. It's not that you can't make money with it or lose money, depending on how good you are at predicting the unpredictable market with it. But it doesn't really solve problems. It's actually created new and interesting ones. I think it's a cool concept to explore. But the other side of it is it's not solving the money problems we have right now. Yeah, farts as a service. That is such a great title. Maybe I'll do one on that. So anything you can make as a service. Did I stop using ServerMonkey? Yeah, we started using the Tech Supply Direct, and that's become the better deals we got from them. So we haven't bought anything with ServerMonkey in a while. But I don't think they're a bad company. We didn't have any bad experiences with them, so I guess that's good. But I haven't been buying anything from them lately. Someone says XCP-NG stable. I have not updated everybody to XCP-NG 8. The testing I've done with it's good. Because I was gone for a couple weekends, I did not have time to update our systems. It was on my to-do list either tonight, well, maybe not tonight, tomorrow or Saturday to do it. So I'll let you know once we upgrade every one of our systems. But the couple I've tested with, my beta test servers work, so I'll let you know. Let's see. Are monoprice cables, connectors certified? I've heard otherwise. They are. Well, certification varies. So companies have to adhere to standards, and the better way to do this would be watch that really long video about Cat 7, Cat 8 I did with the guy who actually wrote some of the stuff. It's a great interview, and you can get a better understanding of it. But generally speaking, yeah, I don't think monoprice, most any of the stuff we've got from them is perfectly fine, never had a problem with it. And because of the overhead they leave in the spec, it's really not a problem to get there. But if they say Cat 6, they're Cat 6 for the most part. The ones I would worry about is the super cheap ones or the copper-clad aluminum. Don't get that stuff. Let's see. I am curious about the Real-Link cameras. Any plans your video will come online? Yes, I actually. So the story got when I was supposed to do the review for the Real-Link, we had a Real-Link die, one of the outdoor ones, and so we took the demo one that was here and we put it on there, and we had to deal with their RMA process, which wasn't bad. So that's actually going to be added to that video, so I can do the review. But the replacement Real-Link is sitting back there. And that was kind of a goal this morning, was to get a couple of those videos done, and then everything happened to me. And sometimes when everything happens, I don't get to finish videos. I only got the one video. I actually had 2 videos done today, and then everything happened. I'm working on more things like being buttoned up so they involve less of me. That's a constant challenge I have. That's also why I did that whole the video of the business plan and hating your job is not a business plan, which of course turned into quite a discussion with 4 more entrepreneurs that are good friends of mine, and they said the video kind of hit a topic with them, and like it resonated with them. So there's going to be a future video coming where there's several of us, and There's going to be one on Tuesday that I do with a really interesting entrepreneurial friend of mine. I will leave it to him to disclose whether or not he wants to disclose his clients. But short of it is he deals with very high net worth individuals and does business consulting. And he's very interesting. Young guy and just wicked smart. And he's contracted we're in the proposal part of me coordinating with a large project that he's securing funding for, that my company will be doing the IT side for. But he's going to share some of his insight of working with some of these, not just businesses, but some high net worth individuals and some of the coaching. And it's interesting. He's just a cool guy to hang out with. So I thought he'd make a great person to talk business on here for the channel. So me and him are doing a video Tuesday. It'll probably be published either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. So let's see. Tested Raspberry Pi 4. Yes, I've been playing a lot with the Raspberry Pi 4. Kyle, a whole lot. Kyle has X2Go and everything set up on it. We've been 3D printing cases, so when we drop the Raspberry Pi on this table here, we're going to have some content and all the stuff we did with it and everything else. So that's going to be cool. So I'm definitely, trust me, I am trying to rock out the videos as fast as possible. Now, one of the reasons that I did the studio video before I finished some of the other things that I was working on is because of the number of people that want to build a studio like this. So I actually have several friends with businesses, some related to tech, some not at all related to tech. One of them is actually an artist. And so part of that video was to help them show the studio, because they're not local to me, but they want to know all the stuff and components and kind of what we did. So I did that, how we built the studio and the things we did to it to help secure them in getting it set up. And I've considered that as a service. Like when people say, hey, will you help me build a studio? It wasn't on my first choice to get into doing that, but I have no problem helping people do that and set it up. And I'm going to go over, I have another video, which is kind of a follow-up, because I already know at least one of them ordered the parts already to build their studio, is I'll talk a little bit more about the exact workflow I use. I hold no secrets. I hate when people say, I get weird emails like that, well, did you leave this out because you wanted to keep a secret? I'm like, no, I just didn't know you wanted to know it. Like, there are no secrets. I lay it all out on the table. I certainly don't have any problem with that. So, let's see. I'm starting an IT company in a small town in Iceland. Awesome. The next few months, I'm planning on getting the fastest available connection, 1 gig, should I go copper or fiber. What is more affordable? Oh, yeah, LTS Kyle. He's playing with the Raspberry Pi 4 right now, which is really cool. Anyways, one of the things I did when I started my business, and maybe I got to outline like all the little things I did. When I started the business, you don't have any cash flow. Or maybe you do. Maybe someone gave you a bunch of money. No one gave me a bunch of money to start my business. I was very, very frugal. And when I got my business, I went to a friend who I knew would sell me really cheap a site-to-site wireless. And that was a really big deal to get a site-to-site wireless in 2003 when I put it on there. So when I put this, it was 2003 or 4 when I got the building. Maybe 4. Anyways, we set up a site-to-site wireless between my house, which wasn't very far away, and the building, so I could pay $0 for internet while I was at work at the office. That way I only had to pay for one internet connection. So what's your budget, and will there be a return on it? When you start thinking about things from a business standpoint, you always have to think, is there a return? So do you need gigabit? Do you need fiber? How does that help your business? Or is it just something you have the money for and you're going, it's not a waste to me. I want the fastest, best internet. Well, cool. I could get away with very little internet especially because of the era back then, you didn't need as much speed, or things were smaller, and et cetera, et cetera. But I was budget minded and I didn't want any extra recurring expenses that I didn't need. Matter of fact, I had Skype back then, routed to a phone number, routed over a site-to-site wireless bridge so I could have phones ringing both at home and at the office without having to pay any extra recurring fees. Or maybe it was Vonage back then. Vonage or Skype, back when you could attach phone numbers to Skype. That was that long ago. So yeah, a lot of it when you're starting out a business is not having any expenses. If you can avoid them, makes a lot of sense, and that's just a better way to do it. Do I have any opinions on OpenSense versus pfSense? Oh, great. I'm glad someone asked that every Vlog Thursday. I don't have any opinions on that. I haven't used OpenSense. It has not compelled me. It does not have features that seem so far beyond the pfSense that I want to use it. It's got a couple novelty features, but it also has a lot of updates. And for me to run something and actually use it and be concise on it, the reason I'm good at pfSense or make a lot of pfSense videos, or as someone commented on one of my pfSense videos, every time I look up a pfSense video, you come up. And that was a message, which I just said, thank you. I don't know. I think that was, I don't know if it was a compliment or not, but that's because we actually use and do pfSense all the time, day in, day out. So we have all these customers with it. We get all these consulting work that we're helping customers integrate pfSense into the greater part of their network. So we're good at it. I would not be necessarily out of the box good and be even to easily fairly evaluate OpenSense because I don't use it. When I don't use something, it becomes a challenge, but when it's something I use every day, and I don't have any plans to start deploying OpenSense at clients, because if it updates all the time, now I've created more work for myself, and anytime there's more work just to keep that system up to date and it has to restart the firewall, that just seems like a bad idea, so I haven't really used it. Oh, let's see. Yeah, Vonage was forever. I know they're still kicking. I know people that use them. They've kind of revamped the company, but I've not really kept up with them. I don't know. I can't say anything good or bad about them. Let's see. What advice do you have for creating a half-sheet promo flyer? More info, more visuals, graphic art. Thanks for all you do. I don't know. I don't find them overly effective. It's for the B2B, I should say. For the retail customers, yeah, maybe. Maybe I'll make a dump and list it out on my forums. Check for that. I'll throw out some of the old ads that we had designed over the years. I think I have a collection of them somewhere that I can find. I definitely have. We do have like a current managed services one, but for the most part, people don't seem to ask much for that. It's kind of like something they gloss over. It looks cool. You got some pamphlets, and I don't even think they unfold or trifold very often. They just want to talk shop and talk tech and have an interaction with you and determine whether or not they want to use your services and whether or not they want to engage you for more work. Whilst we're on the what's better, X or Y, Tom, you've already answered about this, is MikroTik. But yeah, hey, why not? Everyone always asks me about MikroTik. They're cheap. Let's see. I want latency as small as possible. I don't know how much to spend on networking gear. My experience is anything fiber, pretty much none. Basic networking budget is $2K. But the thing is, I mean, fiber, I mean, yeah, compared to a cable modem, you're going to get less latency, but is it needed? Does that matter to you? Is that where your problem lies? Consider that. I would personally, I save money. I don't even have fiber here. So think about that. And I know I can afford fiber, but those payments would go why? You know, it's cost justification. How would having fiber enhance my business? Okay, I can't answer that question, so we don't have fiber. That's how I'd answer it. Like, it didn't. I know I can get it. It's not too expensive, but it is more than I'm paying now. And until it comes down, I'm not having a latency problem right now. We're making voice phone calls. Guys are on the phone in the other room, and I'm doing a live stream, and everything works. So hopefully that makes sense. Oh, by the way, we're also doing lots of remote support. We're connected to lots of computers. We self-host a lot of things in a UniFi controller, and I still don't have fiber here. So don't spend the money unless you just really, really want to spend the money, because sometimes it does feel good to have fancy stuff. Don't get me wrong. Would you recommend swapping the fans in the UniFi switch to throw some Noctuas in? So I did put Noctuas in this one, but only because I don't want to hear it, because it's right there, and sometimes I roll it up here. And oh, wait, I just got a really good message. 1 second, guys. Awesome. I just got some good news. I'll tell you in a second. But because this is right here, and I bring it over here, I don't want fan noise going into the microphone, so I swapped them with the Noctua fans. They work great. But do I need them? It actually seems to run a little bit hotter with the Noctua, not much. It feels like a little hotter. I didn't do real solid measurements, and there's obviously fluctuations because there's more things plugged in now. But I wouldn't replace them unless you are bothered by the noise. It's one of those ain't broke, don't fix it. So, let's see. What do we got here? Speaking UniFi switches from above, which way do the fans point? Out. So let's go back over here. I see that you have some ADG equipment behind you, possibly. Do you or any of your clients use Zen Desktop, Citrix Zen app? We do not. I have no one using the Citrix Zen Desktop. $77 a month is a good price. That's actually less than I pay for not having fiber. Fiber would start at about $500 or $600 a month here. Currently, we're paying about $200 a month for our cable and IPs and everything else. Yeah, if the fiber is a better choice because of pricing, that'd be good. So, if any of you watched my video the other day about the business plan and some of the challenges of being an entrepreneur, one of those challenges is people owe me damn money. And I just got a text from someone who they said it sounds like they're going to guarantee they're going to pay us. It's at least a response, and they've not been responsive, and they've owed me around $40,000 since April, and they've just trickled the money in. That's what they're still owe me. So these are some of those challenges you get to deal with, and yeah. So here's the thing about, there's a couple different aspects of my business, and one of them is the local aspect where people expected, it's just nature of when you do this type of work, is you're going to have people who you do work for, they will get a deposit, but you may not get 100% up front because that's just not how most of the infrastructure jobs are built. They're generally built that you get a deposit and you're paid on delivery of project. This particular project has chose to delay payment for whatever reasons. Any reason I've gotten as an excuse that I don't buy. There's a lot of players involved. It's not like one company. There's a general manager, a general contractor, and a lot of layers. And I think someone didn't get paid along the pipe or something went over budget. There's a lot of reasons that all this can happen. And I just get the BS ones because I'm just one of the vendors now. But that being said, the other side of my business is the online bookings we get. I will be doing a job in Switzerland tomorrow for 2 hours. Those are all prepaid. And we are actually, a company in Texas just got a bunch of infrastructure from us. That's all going to be pre-configured and set up. Once again, that's all prepaid because out of the state. It's really weird how people out of state that barely know us have to prepay everything for us to ship it to them. But people in state, this would be absurd for me to walk in and actually ask for all the money up front for a big project. It seems kind of weird to me. But that's one of the reasons we like to sell the all these out-of-state jobs, because they're just very clear. We have to wire you money. Matter of fact, we now have a company that picked up a support contract that prepaid a larger number of hours with us. So we're not even chasing them on that. We're just pre-buying blocks of hours and then whittling them down as they use support, and they're going to buy more blocks of hours. They said they've had a great time working with us. This is wonderful. So it is definitely different. Yeah, it's all the joys of being either self-employed or, just because there's the other side to it is there's a bunch of people that, not just me, other people are now relying on me to make sure that their paychecks go through and things like that. So these are factors that play on you as an entrepreneur. You have to balance risk. You have to say, all right, I got to do this or do that to make sure that these guys are all paid. So those are all the factors. But that video, like I said, is swung all the way back around, and several of my entrepreneur friends who own businesses, some of them are quite successful. One of them's been on the cover of like magazines and periodicals and things like that. But they're going to come talk, and it's going to be a fun conversation, I think. One, we just all like hanging out with each other because we all run separate, completely different types of businesses, and it's just going to be kind of fun having us all together, and just a little bit's going to be rambling on about it, but it's also, we want to relate to other entrepreneurs that are in the same position, and we want to make it real for people considering this life of, running a business. It's not, as I said in my other video, it's not about gatekeeping. I don't say you can't do it. I just think you should come in well knowledged about all the fun challenges, and there's benefits to it as well. But you just have to stay motivated and have to stay focused. And that's, if you're not that type of person to begin with, if you need structure as opposed to your ability to create structure, that's a big determining factor of whether or not you should be someone who runs a business. There's a lot of businesses, honestly, not just tech, just business in general, is creating structure. Here in Iceland, the only business exclusive connections are dark fiber and Ethernet from the connection hub. Both ridiculously expensive. Is an equipment room, is it better to bring cold air to cool equipment, or more important, remove heat? Don't vent to the outside. You want to keep a dust-free controlled room. Therefore, that's why you do like those split systems, usually just AC. So if you design like a wiring room or even a small server room, you don't want it necessarily to be part of the full circulation system of the building because, well, there's dust. And computers, well, they don't need oxygen. So they're not creating carbon dioxide, so they don't have to have the air exchanged periodically, which is part of the circulation of a building. So you can put in, and we've got some clients that did this, you put in like a split unit. So that room does not have part of the standard venting system, which keeps the dust to the minimum because generally no one goes in a server room. And the split system just removes heat from that room that's generated by the equipment in there. Therefore, keeping the room nice and clean. Then there's a filter on that, so the air that does get exchanged from opening a door, going in and out of the room, and the fact that it's not perfectly sealed, so there is some air circulation, that keeps that room nice and cool and very dust free. Which, not dusting out servers, thumbs up for that. Let's see, what do we have here? No, some things are just not designed to be quiet, so I don't have any. If you have a quad 4890 V2 CPU, it's going to sound like a jet engine. I'm not an expert on that. I mean, I've seen Linus even did a video about liquid-cooled servers, like higher stuff. I thought that was great. Those are cool concepts. Noise is annoying. There's no doubt about it. We had a Dell switch similar. Fans were at full speed all the time. Yeah, some of the older equipment, just no one thought about all the noise it made, which is deafening. I don't think Netgate has a plan for it, but someone said, and I don't know, so don't crucify me on this because I don't have a link for it. Someone had messaged me that they're working on, and I think this is from PFSense, at least it came a tweet or something a while ago. They are working on some type of API to be able to gather information from it. I just use Zabbix. That's what I use to monitor our PFSense installations. So that's kind of the system I use. So that, I don't know if that helps or not. It's built in. You can also use, what's the other one? The competitor for Zabbix. I can't remember its name. That's probably what you heard earlier. I've been popping my back as I was doing this. It's not stress really. It's just one of those, I need to get my back popped a couple more times. Sorry about that. So for those of you wondering, that was the popping noises. If you could hear it, was my back. Nagios, that's the other one I was looking for. Almost forgot, also trying to take over the local government systems. It's just isn't a strict on a table in the U.S. I'm starting an IT takeover starting the coming Monday. Cool. Yeah, Zabbix is nice. It has a learning curve. This is one of those things. People go, I want all these features. They start listing them out, and I say Zabbix has it. Then they look at it, go, it doesn't have like a one button that makes all the magic happen. I actually have to read some docs. I'm like, yeah, any good system, any strong system, sorry, that is a factor. You're going to probably have to read some docs. Libre NMS is kind of cool, but the downside I've had with it is it doesn't have the client. And because Zabbix has the Zabbix clients, which work on Windows, FreeBSD, Linux, and those are your primary operating systems you're going to see in the server world, that integration with the Zabbix agents really extend it more than what LibreMS can do, because it doesn't have those agents that gather up all that data a lot better. So that's why Zabbix is my preferred over something like that. I've looked at it. This was the other one I looked at. It does not a bad project, and some people, when they're monitoring things with SNMP, it works great. So definitely pretty cool. Learning curve of a backslash, yeah. In 2017, a smaller MSP connected my entire town for the competitive prices. They changed the CNAT IP every day. The IPv6 is a fixed. Huh, interesting. I don't think we have that as much here. Yeah, usability is any of these tools. I mean, what you pay for when you buy things like SolarWinds, or let's say anyone. Let's look at what Huntress does. Why is Huntress? Well, one of the reasons I like them, and I highlighted that in the video when I reviewed them and why we use them. It's very, very simple, but simple comes at a cost. To deliver a simple product to us means there's an entire NOC and security team simplifying everything for us. There's entire layers of massive complexity at their data places, at their network operations center, with a team of people. It's a people-driven thing. They're all doing the magic, so we don't have to know anything but the filtered result of, is there an indicator of compromise or is there not? To break everything down to a yes or no on our side came at the expense there. If you want to do all that yourself, let's say you run Security Onion and go, what is that other tool? That security is Wazoo, and integrate Wazoo, and you have to filter through all the logs. You've added to the complexity, but you can achieve the same goal, but then at what expense? You have to have people filtering through, filtering out false positives, putting it all together. So you're someone, this stuff isn't simple by nature. Someone is dealing with the complexity. You're either paying someone to deal with it, or you're learning to do it yourself to save the money. But then you have to determine what your time's worth. So that's the balancing act between those two things. Do I still use KnowBe4? We looked at it and ended up not going with it. I think it's a neat service. It just didn't. I don't have a use case for it. We just didn't want to get into training. The topic come up in the local companies we found didn't really want to spend the money on training. So yeah, cool product. But then when it came down to the dollars and cents, it's actually funny. I sat down and have a conversation. And I'm the IT guy from a law firm, local one, called. And he was a newer IT guy, but he knew me. And we talked about some of the services we could offer the law firm because they fired their old MSP because of 2 security breaches. But then he figured out right away the security breaches were less about the previous MSP and all about their bad behaviors that they have no interest in changing. And even after hiring him to out the MSP and start putting security in, he realized it was just an insurmountable task and quit. He says, you guys won't listen to me. You won't do anything that I want to do. And so when I seen him yesterday, I said, hey, what'd you think of the proposals? I haven't heard back from you. He goes, I gave them to them. They basically said their budget was $0 because they wanted to make more money, and I quit. So I was like, oh. So, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That doesn't work out for some people. So when we've run into that with some of the businesses in the area, it's really hard to convince them and convert them to the whole training and spending money on it. I have one customer that seems interested in it, but then they kind of mentioned maybe only paying me hourly, and I said it's going to take more than that. By the time I put the program together, unless I'm selling it to a whole lot of people at once, the time it takes for me to build the program, the training, and everything else, there's a lot of back-end expense. And if I don't have enough people to sell it to, you have to pay for all the back-end expense. That's basically what I broke it down to them. I'm like, if it takes me 10 hours to put the programming together, someone's got to pay for my time because I don't have enough clients to sell it to offset those costs. So, yeah. UniFi controller, any thoughts on how to provide disaster standby? There is not, well, kind of. There's ways to do it. Build out a full MongoDB and failover system. Absolutely, you can. But I don't understand what your goal is with it. So, because if the UniFi system goes down in terms of, like, I'm assuming the controller, you lose access to things like the web portal. The systems work. You can turn a UniFi controller off and it doesn't stop everything else from working. The only things it will stop is if you're using like a portal authentication, like for guest access Wi-Fi, that will stop. But do you need redundancy for that? Don't use their portal. Use something else. You can use third-party portals for authentication. They have a whole API interface for that. So you could build something out. I don't know what the use case would be. Any company worth their salt should have courses in computer etiquette. Well, that's fuzzy. Under your Cloud Gen 2, is that a working NAS server? That is a functioning but not turned on NAS server that's going to be used for demos. I just haven't had a chance to really dig into it. On my list, though, it's got some 10 terabyte hard drives in it and fun stuff. Hold on. Drag one, reach out. So it's real. These are real 10 terabyte hard drives in it, if that's the question. It's not on. It's just chilling, not doing nothing at all right now. So, have you had spicy food recently? We ate a bunch of chili garlic and some stuff called Mr. Payne about an hour ago. I was putting it on potato chips. I think it's called Mr. Payne. That's good though. uh, can you make more business talk videos? Absolutely, definitely making plenty more of those. Yes, protecting digital you. Highly on the top of my list to make that one because I just updated the slides because I just did the talk for a bunch of local CPAs. So the slides are updated. Yeah, Mr. Payne is good. Yes. See, my staff is chiming in here. We're all, Mr. Payne lately has been our thing. Now this is itchy. Does it go behind the ears? Oh, it's better behind my ears. It was making my ears itch. My horns make my, you know what? I'm done. All right, there we go. But the devil can chill out here. We still got the BSD here. What's that even? What says this? Freebsd.org. So definitely got the BSD guy going. He's our new little mascot. This is courtesy of our friends at FreeNAS, which I've done a few videos on. And I don't, full disclosure, as I always say, IX Systems sent me, and I do have to send back that FreeNAS Mini XL, and they did send me another one that I'm going to be able to keep, not the XL Plus that I did the reviews on. So is that a paid spot or not? I don't think it is. And I've kind of brought that up because when companies give me things, I don't know, you're supposed to say if you're paid to do things, and I don't really do. And I can't, when I say it back, I could say I have not done any at all. I've been offered paid videos, and I have never been paid to make a video. I like products. I get products for free. That's kind of different because they're sending me the product to use, and sometimes I get to keep it. So I don't know. Is that they sent me this Cloud Key Gen 2? I've done videos on it. I didn't pay for that. They just sent it to me. They didn't say if they wanted it back or not. They've never asked for it back, so it's right there. We just do videos with it. We do testing with it. And a lot of companies will do that even if you're not someone who's making YouTube videos. They'll give you demos of their product because they want you to use their product. So, but yeah, that's why we have a good relationship with the FreeNAS people because I love the product. And so we have a bunch of videos on it, and they send us swag once in a while, which is always really cool. Yeah, it's I guess a gift is being paid, but I still disclose it. I always say this was given to me by, but I don't know. It's not exactly the same as a payment, but I'm still disclosing it. But I'm also still critical. Better fact, I know they have not sent me over at the UniFi, and I still love and do UniFi videos. We love their product. I have a couple more upcoming videos about some big projects we finished with UniFi, but I don't care much for their routers because they're too basic. And I don't think they're going to ever send me any more of them. We haven't received anything from UniFi in a while since the last thing we got was that, and which we're very thankful for, and I like that product, and I love the Wi-Fi units, which they don't send me for free. They sent me, what's the big one we tested? I did get that one for free. The Stadium, and I said that in a video. They sent this to me to review for free, so I got to keep that. So that was cool. But I always say that in the video, so I'm always transparent. And for those wondering, because someone asked, and I'll do a breakdown video, how much I make on YouTube. Someone asked, it's not a secret. I will not say it. I will show you my analytics with the information in there. So that's, I'm completely open about that. FreeNAS versus Synology, different use cases. I like both products. Love the solid high performance that you can get with ZFS. And but the other side of it is Synology's got some really cool turnkey push button apps that are really nice. I like both products. I think they're both really good. FreeNAS feels more commercial, more solid. If I have a consulting gig tomorrow of putting in it sounds like a very high-end FreeNAS server. And we've done people with massive FreeNAS deployments and TrueNAS deployments. So I've not done anything that big with Synology. I just feel really comfortable with the FreeNAS, but I like both of the products. There's a weird psychology people have that if you like one thing, you must hate the other. I like both things, which makes it really tough. I think reviews, if you get given gear, are not paid, as you really need to strip gear down. I tear the gear down too. The Expanse, have not seen Another Life. I love The Expanse and The Boys. Come on, who can't love that show? That was great. So yeah, huge fan of The Expanse. Really excited that Amazon picked it up. That's excellent sci-fi. Really love it. So thumbs up to that. So if you haven't watched The Expanse, I think it's all on Amazon Prime now. I'm thrilled that they're doing that, so I'm good. I heard Another Life. I don't know. I mean, I was a huge, Battlestar Galactica. Love that whole series, but I don't know if I'm going to watch Another Life. I didn't hear good things about it based on its content. Not. I'll try to watch 30 minutes of it and watch it. It's getting, I've seen it on Prime, whatever. But The Boys, I binged that. That was great. If you haven't seen The Boys, it's weird, dark look at superheroes and lots of dark humor. It's just dark. It made me laugh. Can you share the slides for the Digital U presentation? When I do the video, I will share all the slides and everything. There's a few things I need to change in it. But yeah, the slides are on Google, and I will share them in the doobly-doo below when I post a video. There's going to be a video on my Twitter for those of you who follow me there, but my friend did a drive in the Tesla. And, I have the video probably in here. Hold on, is there anything personal in here? Not particularly. So I'll share something with you guys, though, if want later. But no, one of my friends, he did a drive in my Tesla, and he just asked me if they can rent Teslas. So that's definitely a thing. I'll post that there later. So, there's a child. Send the child in. I don't know which child is there. One of my kids is apparently out there. Send the kids in. What up, child? There's like 150 people watching the live stream.
Yeah, I know. I've been watching.
Oh, cool. You want to go to your boyfriend's?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had another question about dogs, but Cass already answered it anyway.
You want a dog?
No.
Oh.
I have a dog.
Yes, you do have a dog.
I need to take the dog to the house.
Oh, my house?
Yeah.
Why?
The 19th, an inspection at Mom's.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Yeah, Cass
I'm sure
said
your
that's
landlord's.
fine.
I'm sure your landlord's not watching.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. So give me a hug. You've been on vacation.
Yeah, I know.
So
I've gone for ages.
Yeah, this is my daughter. For those of you that don't know, she's just wandered in. My kids come up here all the time. So, and the other child, where's he?
Playing video games.
At my house?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's probably playing Skyrim.
He's probably playing Skyrim. So he's not here. The other one's playing Skyrim. So, nonetheless, everyone says, hi, kids. There's only about 150 people going to say hello to you right now. So.
Wow, I'm honored.
You're honored. Yeah, but yes, it's fine if you say not your boyfriend's. The dog thing you already talked to Cass about, and that's about it. We'll catch up. Was your vacation good?
Yeah.
All right, you had fun?
Yeah.
You went for walks?
I got a mosquito bite.
You got a mosquito bite?
Only one.
Did you go hiking?
Yeah.
Okay. Marcus, how was he on hiking?
Oh, he was actually really good. I was surprised. We got water backpacks, and he drank like an entire one on one hiking, and he ate both of his snacks, and he's like, I'm so tired.
Huh. Because we were talking,
though.
I might take Marcus canoeing.
I want to go canoeing.
All right, we're going to go canoeing. All right.
Sounds fun.
Good. All right. She's off there. Yeah, that was my daughter. And she was just, her and my son were on vacation for a few days down in Ohio. So they literally just got back. So I hadn't seen them since they've been, I didn't go with them. So, yeah, so they, we do lots of, I'm always open about my personal and family. Like me and the kids were all in New York a couple weeks ago. They went with me to New York, and then they just went with their biological mom to somewhere in Ohio for vacation. So for anyone who cares about my personal life, me and my ex-wife live down the street from each other, like literally just down the street from each other, and we're friends. So the kids are sometimes at her house, or sometimes at my house, and we take vacations. We're all like, I even hang out with her husband sometimes. That's a thing. So anyways, what kind of dog does she have? A few of them. So that's a whole different story. She's got a couple German Shepherds. She had small dogs. Now they got bigger dogs. So let's see. Oh yeah, canoeing's fun. We live in the Great Lakes state, so canoeing is something definitely that can be done here. Oh yeah. Me and my ex get along, so that's why I tell people I'm open about my personal life, because there's not as I don't know. It's nothing. More people should talk about their life sometimes. I don't know. But then I guess I give people absolutely the right to be perfectly private. If they want to talk nothing about their life, then perfectly fine. I respect that. If you want, my wife sometimes, my current wife sometimes gets on the videos with me. Matter of fact, the thumbnail for this particular one was me recording a podcast with my wife, and it's my wife's podcast, not mine. Maybe I'll post it. It's certainly going to be highly inappropriate for families. It's we talk about all kinds of fun stuff. So anyways, yeah, kayaking is cool too. Oh, do a vid of your kids driving a Tesla. Yes, that's actually coming. That's actually something that's coming. So definitely a thing. Okay, cool. Whoa, what is that? All right, back to tech topics before I wander off topic. I'm easily distracted sometimes, as anyone may have noticed here. Back to IT, do you use any BGP routers? If so, what brand? What are you currently using? I don't do much with BGP myself. That is a piece I would outsource, and although pfSense supports it, it's kind of hit and miss on what companies use it. I'm not an expert on BGP. BGP is difficult, but I have friends that are experts on BGP. So if someone wants to hire me for that, I'm fine if they hire me and I broker it out to trusted contractors that do that type of work. I'm not a BGP person. It's just, I don't have enough work in it that would merit my time, make it worth it for me to gain the knowledge I need to do it. I have a general understanding of it, but I am far from being an expert on it. So not much in there. So I started to talk about, and maybe I have a copy that I'll get to it soon, because we put the word MSP contract in here. I'm working on a template. And nope, this one's not ready either. Okay, I gotta clean this up. But I will be sharing out a template for the MSP contract stuff. I'm gonna do kind of a video where I talk about that, because I think people way overthink it. And I know that video is gonna get a bunch of hate because people have contracts that look like signing over a mortgage. And I get it, they really want strong protections for everyone involved. The reality is they're just aggravating, and I'm going to do a simpler one. So that's going to be a lot better system than when I get around to putting that together. I'm going to get some clear, concise talks on MSP contract. That's what is on there. So same thing with bidding on projects. I've done a video about how we bid a project. I'm going to do a few more videos on that topic because I think people really overcomplicate it. I seen another discussion going on in one of the forums I participate in where people are looking for the best bidding software and they put it all together in a really complicated form. I'm like, why are your bids so complicated? It's just not... It's not something that I find is hard. And I'm bidding on projects that are sizable. I'm not using anything more than Invoice Ninja, and we just put a nice quote together for $37,000 for a client to get a project done. And I didn't spend a bunch of money on bidding software, and I did the bid in under, I don't know, maybe about an hour, because it took a little research, about an hour of my time to bid that. So I don't understand when people say, how can you just use that for bidding? I don't know. Like, what am I missing? Am I doing it wrong? We're making money, and I've gotten, some of the larger projects that are over 6 figures that I've just used Invoice Ninja for, and I've gotten paid on them, but I must be doing something wrong according to these people because I'm not buying some expensive bidding software. I don't know. Open sourcing the contracts a little bit, I don't mind. What I'm going to do is create it as a template people can copy off of that will have some genericness to it. But yeah, the contract is not, to me, the part that needs to be, not that I think anything really needs to be proprietary, but it's not the contract that needs to be proprietary. And the reality is, and we just ran into this, I can't remember if I talked about that. I talked about the sonic wall we found, or I think we found it last Friday. This is really going to be one of those topics it makes me really angry. But there was an MSP, local, and we took over a client from them, and they were very apprehensive about us taking over the client. But it quickly became apparent that they were charging them to update things that they were not updating. That was the first thing we noticed, which is typical. A lot of MSPs get like that. They get lazy, they get complacent. But I just gotta, yes, my phone did light up. Hi, Kyle. Anyways, so I think a lot of MSPs quickly fall into the status of complacency. And when they do so, they stop updating things. They stop caring. I don't know what all goes on in their head. Maybe they get more focused on money and less focused on the tech. But we told the client, like, your firewall is dropping packets constantly. That was like their internet problem. We're like, look, if we bypass the firewall, it works. And they're like, oh, you mean the sonic wall? I'm like, no, you have a really old 10100 Juniper. And you're like, no, we have a sonic wall. We paid for a sonic wall. They were digging around and they could prove they paid for a sonic wall. So while we were waiting, and while we were waiting for the, we have to contact the medical provider. There's a whole lot of people involved because we have to reset up the IPsec VPN. So we've installed a pfSense instead. We replaced a Juniper with a pfSense. And so one of my techs was there and he's cleaning up the mess that was their IT room. And in a box, he found a newer sonic wall that had never been installed. And they were able to prove that, yes, they were charged for a sonic wall. They were charged to install it, and it was in a box wrapped up while their Juniper was installed. And one more thing the MSP told them they installed and just didn't do. And because the doctor's office is going, well, we don't really know what goes on back there. That's not their specialty. They're seeing patients. Well, it turns out they were billed for it, and they didn't even have it. So, yeah, that's the kind of stuff we see all the time. So the contract they had was really lengthy and bragged about all the BS services they allegedly offer that didn't. They have a website that's real snazzy, that looks nice, that says they do all these managed services that they don't. And they were charging, we found out, probably a little bit more than we do, and not doing any of the services. And generally, they didn't like dealing with them. They said they just kind of suck to deal with too. So like the other factor was they just didn't like them as people. They're unpleasant. They're smart asses. They make us feel small. They just talk down to us like they're superior, and it's not a good engagement with them. So yeah, the contracts are not what I worry about. Like I see MSPs like really secretive about the software they use, about the contracts, and I'm like, why? Your service is where all of it's at. You either provide it or you don't. And we're running into, and obviously I can't say this is that false thought sometimes. It's a narrowly done statistic. I'm not going to say there's a lot. I know there's a lot of bad MSPs, but statistically, I don't know what percentage it is, because we're not taking over clients from good MSPs. We're only taking them from bad MSPs. So it's not that I think all MSPs are bad, but nature of it. The only people who are going to call and switch over to another service, us, is because that MSP sucked and wasn't doing their job in some manner or way. So, yeah. Let me roll up a little bit. I don't know if you could hear the phone going off, but yes, Kyle, my phone went off. I don't know why you need XCP Gen for XCPNG for Linux. I think you can run it in Wine. I don't know. I don't use it. So I use Zen Orchestra because it's way better. Check your default gateways and firewall rules. I missed something up here. I'm trying to follow all the comments. Have you tried a reset? Yeah, reboot everything. That just fixes people, all kinds of stuff. Let's see. Because that was a whole discussion on BGP. I'm going to skip out on X. I'm not a BGP expert. Thank you, Uncle Skeet, for the $1.99. It is greatly appreciated. Here. We do web hosting, and most of our maintenance, we have information in place. Cool. Support desk we use is MikroTik doesn't know why it isn't working. Oh, yeah. MikroTik doesn't know why it's not working. What? MikroTik's actually pretty popular in the WISP space in that because the margins are so low. And they're a configurable product. If you take the time to learn MikroTik, they have a lot of features. You're paying with your time to learn them as I've looked at them. So, let's see. I see some MSPs really only interested in selling additional products. Oh, God, that's a whole nother topic. Some of them are all about selling and commission products all the time. Have I tried KVM? No, I don't really have a use case for it. I'm familiar with it. I usually stick with the Zen. Ain't broke, don't fix it. So, I mean, I was working on a VMware project today because that's what the client uses. So I do consulting on whatever the client's using. A lot of them are using VMware. I see VMware. We have some XCP-NG. I get the XCP-NG clients because I do video on it. I get the VMware clients because I do FreeNAS videos. So almost anyone who's using VMware that we do consulting with has been because everything, they're using FreeNAS for storage with their VMware servers. So I know VMware well enough. It's not, it's not rocket appliance. It's just VMware. It's not hard to build out the virtual network. Matter of fact, I did a pfSense job, which involved a whole lot of VMware. They had a weird way. They had a few things set up, and I helped consult with them to get them all put together in a more sane manner. Is the best way to describe that crap show that I was working on. It's all nice and clean now, and it looks nice, but sometimes they were not tagging the ports properly. VMware can handle doing all the VLANs, and they weren't having it. They created all these extra adapters and then attached them to different switch ports instead of just sending the full trunk over to VMware, which made it that much more difficult because no one labeled what all the ports were. So when a wire got moved, everything broke. It's all redone and nice, and I can actually build VMware network stacks. They're not that complicated. Once you understand how virtual machines work and how the virtual environment works, moving between VMware and XCP-NG it's not rocket science, like I said. It's just familiarity where the buttons are. The concepts are the same. They just have a few different menus in a few different places. Do you clarify the difference between MSP and projects in your contract? Oh, yes. That's an important aspect to verbally not only have it in writing, make sure they understand what you're getting billed for. And we also do not offer. It's just not part of what I want to get into. And this is where some people can tell me I'm leaving money on the table or whatever. That's fine. It's just not my business model. We don't do the all you can eat. Every project is covered under the sun. Whatever you want to do with us is just covered. You pay this much a month and you get everything you ever wanted. No, I just don't do those contracts. And I don't know anyone I've ever met inside those contracts who are ever happy on either side. Well, I've met some MSPs that seem to be very happy because they're charging enough money, but it seems like the businesses are always, I see those same MSPs complaining about churn when companies don't want to renew. I don't know. It's not my space. If you are in that space, that's fine. And it's just, hey, there's a market for everybody. But I've never lost a client because I didn't do that. But I have picked up numerous clients because they didn't want that type of contract. They preferred what we had, a base monthly fee, and everything else is billed out as a project on an as-needed basis. I just find that to be an easy sell to my clients. XCPGN Center for Linux, I use that in Orchestra. I've seen that. You posted that before. Hey, whatever. Oh, yeah, and then there's Proxmox. Proxmox is good, too. My friend uses it. It's great. So, yeah. I don't use it, but it works. Hello from Greece. Missing my beauty sleep. Loving your live blog. Awesome. All the way from Greece. That's a cool place. I've never been there. I've heard good things about it, though. Guy I used to work for was from I may be saying it wrong. I probably am saying it wrong, but Thesvi, Greece? T-H-E, something like that. Used to work with them. They visited back and forth. They were really cool. They used to show pictures, and it looked like a really neat place to live. What do you use your backup cloud or host or backup the service yourself? Mostly SolarWinds, but we also use Backblaze and custom projects. My relationship with Cloudberry, and they changed their name, I know, but I'm still going to call them Cloudberry. But Cloudberry, my relationship with them is because we use their backup solution for backing up edge cases. Sometimes people have way more data to back up than we can do. Therefore, we use things like the Cloudberry system to facilitate that with like Backblaze. Yeah, you'll do all you can eat, $1,000 a month a seat. Exactly. Do you use a centralized UniFi controller or several controllers on site? Mostly, for anyone managed, they get our UniFi controller. If they want to pay us a monthly management fee, we'll manage it in our stack. If not, there's going to be an on-site controller. Unmanaged, and it'll never get updated, depends if the client wants to be managed or not. That's really what that comes down to. Automation is very important and simplifies. Your customers are happy and contact fewer. Yes, that's why we like SolarWinds. Opinion on Ninja RMM. I've never used it, so I have no opinion. People like my website. Thank you very much. Standard. Yeah, that is it for now. All right, cool. So when it comes to picking the RMM tool, one of the problems is once you start moving everybody to it. So this is something you should put a lot of thought into. You start moving everybody to it. And I have so many people that they kind of hop between all the different ones. I almost want to, the question really is, who's going to disappoint you this time? They're all imperfect. They're all working to get better. Who's going to get better first? I don't know. I like SolarWinds because they have all the licenses and everything rolled in. Because I see people, and someone said, oh, I switched to Datto and da-da-da-da-da, because it's less per workstation. And I'm thinking, less per workstation, okay. My total cost for SolarWinds is not even what payroll costs. Like, payroll on Friday is a lot more than SolarWinds' monthly fee. That's not where the expenses are. I mean, the tooling costs money. There is a cost to tooling, but it's not your ultimate cost. So I see people hopping between them all the time. The bigger companies settle on one because once you start getting tons of computers on there, well, it's a lot of pain to switch. It's like, oh, if I wanted to switch to another RMM, yeah, there's going to be this massive pain to switch all the systems, and all those companies are willing to offer incentives. And what if I don't like them? Now I've disrupted my clients to some extent, created a whole lot of labor switching everybody to the other tooling. And SolarWinds, because they have all the licenses and everything integrated for my antivirus, the web filtering, I know the cost very easily, and I don't have to track any licenses. If someone says add 10 computers, 10, deploy. There's no, oh, I got to go buy 10 licenses for this and 10 licenses for that. That one place for everything makes my life a little easier. Do I wish it was cheaper? Of course I do. I wish I could spend less money on it, but it's not the biggest expense we have here at Lawrence Systems. SolarWinds is expensive is a relative type thing. It's not, it's one of those things like, because you're getting the antivirus, you're getting all these features licensed with your SolarWinds. So you can say, hey, this other one's only half of what SolarWinds charges. And if I buy all the licenses in bulk, 10 at a time and 20 at a time over here, and then another license over here, I overall save money. But then now you have to track and manage licenses, and they expire at different times versus SolarWinds. One fee, one bill, all licenses. The only other license besides SolarWinds is our Office 365 license. So now only I have two things to manage. SolarWinds, Office 365, done. Life is good. It can be depending on what type of infrastructure you need. Monitor, the U.S. government loves to use SolarWinds. So there's SolarWinds is also a company that's been around. They're well funded. Some partly by venture capital, partly by people who are like me that pay a lot of money to SolarWinds because they're not cheap. But the product is solid. I've not had a problem with it overall. Yeah. Oh, they also started adding these other things inside of what do you call it? I think they have an onboarding fee that they added recently, which kind of made me mad. But whatever. There's an onboarding fee just for their servers. I don't know, not recently, but recently enough. But yeah, whatever. That's one more thing to deal with SolarWinds is that they have that on there. Whatever. It's not the end of the world, you know what I mean? When you look at the expenses, and when I do some of the profit and loss stuff, the big category is labor of where all the money goes. Us paying contractors and people, not SolarWinds. And don't worry, there's a margin, there's a markup on all the people and that to get it back. But paying that few dollars a workstation, hopefully you're charging more than a few dollars a workstation. The easiest way to say so. Okay, cool. Messages I got a few people calling me for stuff. That's the thing. How long have I been going for? Holy crap, I've been going for an hour. Awesome. Do you develop stuff, e.g. Kubernetes and Docker? No, I outsource that. I don't have anyone in-house doing it, but I do contract to do work for that. I contract developers as needed, and I need to probably do a video about using contractors. I think not enough people realize that you can just leverage that. When it's something I don't do, I have a trusted relationship with a lot of vendors. Another local IT company. I really get along with them great. We've exchanged work back and forth. They have some expertise that I don't have, and I don't have enough work that it would warrant me hiring a person for that expertise. And so when I need some of that type of work done, I just reach out to them. and contract them. And I'm very honest, like, hey, I'm going to contract these guys over here to do this part of it. I have another guy I contract out of state on a regular basis to do some PHP work. I have someone who wrote a database to do EDI translation. That's a real one-off thing. If you don't know what EDI is the exchange data interformat. It's something weird. It's from the automotive world. We don't see it that often, but automotive and transportation shipping uses it. It's part of this. So he wrote a whole interpreter that interacts with this crazy old database to import records from EDI. I don't write that stuff, but this guy I know does, and I contracted him to write all this for one of my clients, and they love him. I put a small markup on it for brokering the deal. I've not had to do anything other than connect those two people together, and they talk to each other. I don't hide who my contractors are. The guy from the one company talks directly to the contractor. The contractor tells me how many hours he needs. There's a markup on it. I do the billing. Everybody's happy. Everybody wins. I make a few dollars. They make a few dollars. No secrets here. So any of that other stuff that I don't do, yes, I've been contracted for things like that, but I don't do it and I outsource it. So I'm not a Docker or Kubernetes person, but if you want to hire me for it, message me. I know a guy, right? That's how that goes. Let's see. Yeah, essential licensing. There's all kinds of quirkiness on any of the updates. It's just a pain. Updates are a pain no matter what. Thanks, Microsoft, for not making that easy. Yes, I had Phil. Phil's one of my trusted partners for Ansible work. Phil is quite good at it, and we have a couple part video on Ansible, so yeah, learn it. We have a video to get you started on it, but Phil's been hired to do work more than once. Phil has built out some equipment for people. He's really talented. Matter of fact, Phil doesn't usually like to deal directly with people. He likes to be handed projects that filter through me. So our working relationship is, you could email Phil, but Phil's has zero interest in getting on the phone and walking you through it. Phil does projects and tasks very, very well on his own terms. He'll give a price to get them done, and I guarantee Phil will get them done for said price, but you don't get to watch him walk through it. You have all the code, all his notes are documented when he sets something up. He's very detail oriented, but he's not going to sit on the phone and walk you through what he did. So different, but that's one of the people that I do use. Being a good connector, skills people is dropping needs. Yeah, that's key. Make a lot of friends. I haven't really spent much time with UNMS because I don't do much with the edge equipment. It's been on my to-do list, but there's such a lack of demand for it. So, thanks for answering my questions. We love your channel in the home assistant community. Awesome. I like it. We are also thinking about using UCRM. That's an interesting looking product. I think you can try some of it out. I think HostiFi now has UCRM as their offering. I don't know if they have it or they're working on getting it out there, but they have some options. HostiFi is really cool. I got to have a conversation with him. He's a great, I've talked about his product, HostiFi, but I'm going to get an interview going with him. It's really cool to interact. I've chatted with him on numerous occasions. He's a really talented developer, really good at being transparent about everything he does, which makes him really, to me, very likable that he's so transparent. So that's definitely, that's the thing I do like about it. Riley Chase, he talks very openly on his blog about everything he's doing in business, revenue he's making, like step by step how he started his company. He's doing what I wish I would have done in 2003, is basically creating like a journal of his progress of building up a company that's a software as a service company. Hats off, dude. Like, that's awesome. Matter of fact, Riley happens to be local here in Michigan, and I like beer, and beer is in the same city he lives in. Lots of beer. Our beer capital is not Detroit, where I live, but Grand Rapids, Michigan is probably has more beer than Detroit. We have a lot of breweries here in Michigan. So I'm going to see if he wants to meet for a beer, and it's worth it to me to drive a couple hours and go hang out in Grand Rapids for the day. And yeah, it's on my to-do list to reach out there, and I'll probably take the camera. Maybe I'll interview, and me and him will have a beer and BS about business. We are an MSP telco IT company. Cool. They also know they will be adding VoIP services to it. That's cool. Okay, cool. Notice you're from the Netherlands. Okay, you guys are having a conversation I'm missing. I get it. People from the Netherlands, more than one of them. Awesome. Are there any good MSP Tech and podcasts? Well, yes, there are. And we'll start. Hold on, let me grab something. I was skeptical, and it's not because I'm holding this and I was their first guest, but the MSP Voice. I really think, so VM Doug, as he is on Twitter, Doug's done a great job of really building up that podcast. It's one of those things, a lot of people talk about creating content, but they don't stick with it. They have really stuck with, and they have a lot of episodes, and this is one of the ones I've actually enjoyed. It's on a regular listen to me as well. Let me show you. If we go to my phone, we open it up, and you will see that MSP Voice right there on my phone using the podcast app. It's one of the ones I'm already subscribed to. I didn't have to hunt that down at all. It was open already. They're one of the ones that do a nice job. And like I said, I'm not just saying it, and I will disclose if someone says I'm saying it because of the award. I actually brought the award to say, yes, they gave me a little thing for being their first guest on there, but I'm being very honest that that's not why I'm saying it. I'm saying it because I genuinely listen to them. They're one of the good ones out there. Other ones, I'll run down my podcast list here. I have a book list I'm going to get you guys to. Someone asked about the book list. I have a book list on where is it? Somewhere on my forums. I know I've got a book list, but I'm going to do a video about all the business books I've read. But the list of things that I listen to that I would say are really good for working in tech is This Week in Enterprise Tech, Twyet, that's really good. Darknet Diaries, Security Now, love or hate him, I'm a fan of Steve Gibson. He is definitely quirky, but a lot of people are. This Week in Google is not as much about Google as you'd think it is. That's a really good one to listen to just in general to get you kind of a feel of the market. Risky Business Podcast, very good one there. Darknet Diaries, if I didn't say it, I'll say it at least one more time. Darknet Diaries, every one of them. I'm a sponsor of the, a Patreon. I guess it's still kind of a sponsor, but yeah. Bad Voltage is good. MSP Voice. Yeah, there's not a lot of other ones that I listen to that I'm going to say was deep in terms of that. So, yeah. Yep, I don't have other ones in here that are tech related that I would say that I would listen to. But those ones are good. Those couple I listen to right there. Maybe I'll make a whole list of every podcast I listen to, but a lot of it's all over the place as far as podcasts. There's a lot of other things I listen to in here that are not necessarily tech related, but Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, huge fan. SMLR, good show, Sunday Morning Linux Review. The Anthropocene Reviewed, love John Green. The Nerdist, I listen to that based on which character. Star Talk. Occasionally Windows Weekly. Penn Sunday School, big fan of Penn Jillette. He cracks me up. Very funny guy. And I think that's really the one. Those are the common ones. Oh, Daily Detroit. I'm going to be downloading a couple more of those because I'm going to be on the Daily Detroit soon as well. And I've been on it before. Let's see. My ISP is so a bit funky. They limit the rack server height. Yeah. Let's see. What else we got there? How do you limit your rack server height? Yeah, I'm confused by that whole line of questioning here. Do I have a product or service that is leading for your company? It's all cumulative. What email system using for Lawrence Systems? Lawrence Systems is a G Suite company. We like G Suite. We love G Suite. We hate Outlook. But it's a love-hate relationship. I jokingly will tell you that my Tesla was paid for by doing Outlook support. Like, Outlook is probably at least partially responsible for that Tesla that I drive. that we get a lot of money off Outlook. Someone just bought a big block of ours just to do basically Outlook support for them. We do Outlook support a lot. None of us like it. If you want to know how to fix Outlook problems, don't use Outlook. It's a terrible, terrible product. But people over 30 refuse to change and use anything other than Outlook because they love Outlook and they built some type of world around it that means they're going to continue to use it. G Suite is far superior in every way. Matter of fact, I have a big project coming up. We're going to make a whole lot of money switching someone from G Suite to Outlook. And only because the new IT guy, I just don't like Google. That's his answer. I'm like, okay. I said, that's why they want to switch, because they've got a company that runs on it, and they're a bigger company, but they're going to spend about $15,000 with me possibly switching it. I'm like, whatever. Cool. Works for me. We switch people all day long. They want all the stuff migrated and all the Outlook boxes set up. We do a lot of that. I'm not a fan of the product, but I support it because there's money in supporting it, and people don't want to get off of it. Packet pushers. I've heard that one's okay. I've not listened to packet pushers. I may well add that in there. Slow burn from Slate. Interesting. Open source projects. There's so many of them out there. I haven't had time to really dig into lately. I've been too busy working, and I need to get back to playing a little bit more. But it's also summer, so some of my playing has been on my motorcycles and taking days off. Do I have a product that is leading services for my company? No, it's everything's this buildup of everything and a lot of moving parts. So there's not just one. Infrastructure projects are very profitable, so we do a lot of those. They're bigger dollars. And they're profitable because it's a larger dollar thing and we're talented at it, I guess. We have a niche or a skill at it. So that's driving a lot more jobs that way towards those. So those are probably leading, I guess. But so is MSP. I love the recurring revenue from the MSP. It's not a bad thing. Structuring that well has been going good, and we're fast expanding that aspect of it as well. This guy's Tom. I thought this guy's name was Lawrence, hence the name Lawrence Systems. Oh, yeah. My last name is Lawrence. Tom Lawrence. Yeah, people stick with Outlook just because. Hey, whatever. Oh, yeah. G Suite Sync with Outlook. Oh, yeah, that's funny. I just haven't done any spicy videos for people wondering. We need to do one. I don't know. Some people hated them, and a few more people started asking for them, so maybe we'll come back and do some more of them. Identity management, looking for something to make AD easy to manage? No, just use AD. I don't know what would make it easier to manage. AD is AD. Active Directory is popular. Many things federate against it. It works. So I'm not sure what the question is there. I'm 27 and I switched just from Exchange to Office 365. Well, that's a step in the right direction. No one should have Exchange servers anymore. I did get an interesting email from someone who followed the channel, and they thought the migration prices from their current IT provider were ridiculous on migrating off of Exchange. I seen the prices they said. I'm like, wow, they're about 10% less than us. So ridiculous, isn't a number. When they gave me the number, I said, it does cost that much. There's a lot of time involved to migrate like 70 mailboxes from where they are to the cloud. Because you want all the data, you want all the contacts, you said you want all the stuff. Well, yeah, someone has to then migrate and put all that in the cloud. Microsoft did not make a one-button push for this. So there's people like us who will facilitate lining up 70 accounts and setting them all up. But that does not come for free. That's going to cost some dollars. It's good for network engineer trends. Who's cool? Identity management. You ever tried Jump Cloud? I have not tried Jump Cloud. I need to work return dang USG. I had to see the hard way that Tom was talking about. I'm going to do maybe another video on the USG so I could just say it's 2019 and it hasn't. They still have not even added as many features as they should for the USG. It's a cool little box. It's not an insecure box. It just is lacking features of a modern firewall box. They're not bad. Matter of fact, we're going to be doing a big site-to-site project with a bunch of USGs. They work for that. But because they are focused on exactly how they want to use it, it's a good solution. But as soon as if they go outside the box of what they want to do, and they're going to run into the wall of lack of capabilities. Don't agree with your statement. Nobody should use Exchange servers anymore. Do you have customers with 200 mailbox and 8 megabit line use Office 365? Not really. It's not an issue here. But I guess if you're in some low bandwidth situation, yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. So that could be obviously a problem if you're in rural areas. We don't really deal with that much. Haven't seen it as a problem. I tried working with MikroTik devices. Not my thing. I don't do MikroTik. So you have tried Jump Cloud, but the web GUI slow. Yeah, I never used it. USG failover. Yeah. Yes, WAN failover still crap. Well, the other problem is, I mean, to my knowledge, and I didn't look because I know there's a .26 update. I didn't read every detail. Does the USG actually have the ability to assign more than one IP to WAN via the UI, or is that still a command line feature? Those are dumb problems. Yeah, cheap ASUS routers have more efficient, and yeah, they're just kind of, they lack features. Like I said, they are good, like you said there. They help light up the dashboard. So if you have a USG, then you'll have the full UniFi stack, and you get the whole green check boxes everywhere. That's exciting to some people. Does G Suite work offline like proper offline, or does it depend on your browser's cache? So G Suite has some abilities that I'm never offline, but I know G Suite has some offline abilities. Especially you can sync the documents offline. I think Gmail has I know Gmail on the phone has a level of offline that works pretty well when I've been in rural areas. But yeah, so that's definitely. Definitely something I like about it is that when I do some document editing, it'll let me know which documents are kept offline, so that works really well. Yeah, usually you need to edit the JSON file for WAN IPs. That's a feature in 2019 that feels like it should be inside of a company that calls themselves a commercial firewall producer. You know, you're not producing a commercial firewall, an enterprise, or whatever nomenclature you want to add to it. If you're talking about, oh, I still have to go to a JSON file and edit it to make that work. That doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, I'm going to jump off here because it's about 7 o'clock and I do have a few more stops and a few people to reply to, and I'm excited about the other stuff. But I am all for, like you guys said, me producing those contracts, doing a video about it, and giving you a template. It's going to be a Google Docs template, by the way. I'm going to do an MSP video on that, and I give things away. Maybe I should charge for things. Maybe you guys can, I'll put a donate button on there. Maybe that would help because I could always use a few more dollars. So, sometimes when people owe you lots of money, money gets thin occasionally, and you're like, oh, yeah. And the YouTube ad revenue, when I do a video on that, you're going to understand that for the amount of videos I have, the YouTube ad revenue is not that, you know, you have to be doing videos on like kids games or something else to really get a lot more ad revenue. And I've seen other people. Matter of fact, I've learned recently by watching a couple people, including Graham Stevenson, Graham Stevenson. He's talked about his YouTube channel a lot and how much money he makes, but it's also interesting. He has a better CPM rate because he talks about finances. So maybe I need to talk more about finances. Hey, thank you, Kyle, for throwing some money at me. And for those of you who don't know, that is Kyle from Huntress Labs, the Kyle from Huntress Labs. So that is very awesome. Oh, yeah, forums.lawrencesystems.com. That's always important. But I will mention, though, too, I was excited, and Kyle, I think he's listening. I had messaged Kyle this because I thought it was great. I grabbed a snippet out of an email because someone says, hey, you know, thanks for you and Kyle have made me paranoid, and I've double-checked. We now have MFA, you know, multi-factor authentication on all of our MSP stuff. And I'm like, hey, awesome. I like hearing that. That's a great email that I get. Because you know, Kyle and me and him have talked personally. We have, and he's done that webinar, which I've linked to and talked about. Like so much of the stuff, so many of the things that he's responding to and we're seeing in the MSP market. You know, we see some basic password spraying, and a lot of this could have been prevented. One, don't reuse passwords, but two, because sometimes people reuse passwords, whatever. Two, have multi-factor authentication on. So many of these indicators, and Kyle's gone over this in his videos and talked about it on debriefs. And if you follow the Huntress Labs Reddit/RMSP, you'll see posts in there and follow-ups to breaches. It's not the tooling that gets breached. It is the tooling used against people where they didn't have multi-factor authentication on. So this is, you know, it's been a huge issue, and a little bit of security can go a real long way. So if you're starting out an MSP, please, from the ground up, talk about security. I will probably be talking about the StockX breach. I got to find out how much I can disclose about certain things, and that's going to be interesting. Not that I'm expert on it, but StockX is a local company, and they were evaluated at roughly $1 billion. Their evaluation is relevant because the length at which they held on to not disclosing their breach is going to be a very big question of when they knew and what they knew, et cetera, et cetera. And because they're a big $1 billion company down the street, like literally a few miles from here, this is their headquarters, there's a lot of talk, and there's a lot of technical people that work there, so it's going to be very interesting to dive into. So I'm not trying to make any enemies like that, and I do have friends that are contractors with them, so they really don't want to talk because it's their client, and there's not anything bad, so to speak, that they have to say about them, but it's one of those, you stay away from certain topics. But I think if I can find anyone who would want to break down what went wrong, that's a learning lesson for all of us. And the big thing that came out of it in the TechCrunch article about StockX that's very relevant is the fact they were using MD5. And then I linked to, actually my friend Jesse did, who's also into computer security, to the comments on Y Combinator about it, where people were really talking like, hey, they were talking, a lot of inside information came out. And the short of it is, StockX was founded in 2015. MD5 for hashing passwords was kind of becoming obsolete before 2015. So here it is 2019, you have all this venture capital funding coming in, and you still didn't take time to redo your password databases and redo them in something more modern like bcrypt. So there's a lot of that. What I see from the outside, even with what I do know from some of the inside, this is a culture problem, a culture of not having security. And it's one of those, they didn't start with it. So as they grew very, very rapidly as a company, the company's been only a couple years old and now worth over $1 billion. That's rapid growth. Hats off to them. They're doing a great job. But that's the front end and the product side. There's still a back end DevOps side that has to be concerned, and is equally important because that's the foundation that keeps your product up there. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, finances are boring, as someone said. Let's see. What else did I catch up? Yeah, MFA, all the things. Just do it from the get-go. It's not optional. We're even thinking about a good primer on MFA. I have some ideas for. I'm going to roundtable it with some of my security friends and help them poke holes in my idea. But I want to present like a good strategy to use it without greatly inconveniencing you, but keeping your security high. And it's a lot of practical stuff, but I'm trying to put some guides together about that. Also, I have a friend who does higher level consulting who wrote an article that I'll find a link to and tweet it out, but we're going to do a video on it too. It's basically cyber breach incident handling from a non-technical perspective, like what needs to be done. And it's some fun stuff we want to talk about because kind of people don't always have a plan for that, so putting a plan together is great. Why does the Huntress Labs channel have 63 subscribers? News coming soon. Once they start getting some content out there and everything else, you're going to see a lot more from the folks at Huntress Labs. They're going to be putting together a lot more information. Read their blog. Read their stuff they're doing already. They do some really solid research on top of it because they have a lot of data. And they're really good at deciphering things. They're really good at looking for the indicators of compromise and understanding the trends. That's actually how I met Kyle, was through some of the write-ups Kyle did that were really good debriefs on kind of what went wrong, and that's invaluable information. Are the options to the ISPs available for where small IT companies can deliver their own DSL fiber connection with their own IP space from data centers? Not really that I'm aware of. The last mile is the problem. Now the WISP market allows you to do that, so the wireless ISP market lets you, but it's a lot more difficult because of the last mile challenge. With a WISP, you are the last mile between you, wherever you buy a block of IPs from, delivering it to customers. But in the other side, well, at least here where I live in outside Detroit, Comcast has to be on the poles and delivering. AT&T delivers DSL on the poles. How are you going to get to the poles to physically get here? That's not easy. That's a big challenge. Matter of fact, Rocket Fiber, which is actually owned by the same people who own StockX, Rocket Fiber is a Detroit fiber company, and their challenge is not sales, but getting physical access to their customers and getting the fiber lines ran through Detroit. It's become a big challenge for them to do the physical build out to get their customers lit up. 2FA with FIDO, UTF, simple click of a button and a stick and you're in. Yes. FIDO, YubiKey systems, all kinds of fun stuff. My Google account just switched me to press yes on the phone. Yeah, that's... yes, I would say pressing yes on the phone is still better. I'm partial, and I have everything to set up to TOTP. That way, it's an actual offline connection. I think that's my preferred method. But when I do my video on that, I'll break those down. So yeah. Now, other places, someone said in the Netherlands they have an open infrastructure. Yes, that is a thing. Some places do offer an open infrastructure where they basically mandate the other carriers allow your traffic to go over it. So that is a thing that has not gone well here in the U.S. Not in a good way, at least. WISP has kind of been the workaround for that. Yeah, the last mile around you sucks. There's a lot of pain in doing that, so... Anyways, I am going to sign off. Like I said, it's close to 7 o'clock here. Yeah, UTF FIDO has a blockchain. There's some really good solid. Like, look at the YubiKey is a neat solution, and there's other ones out there. Google has their own similar to YubiKey system that they're doing. That's kind of neat. So there's definitely a lot of options out there that are all pretty cool. So, hey, awesome. Thank you, Benjamin Salazar. I appreciate it greatly. So thank you very much. We've worked it up here. We got $13 in chat revenue. Thank you as always. Head over to forums.lawrencesystems.com to keep the discussion going. I will be updating it, but we do have a whole affiliate page on our website that I really should link inside of here. But check out my website if you have other questions. And I'm out of here. It is 7 p.m. and that is when I actually close. I hear the noise winding down out there. We actually shut the phones off at 6 officially, but we're still here till 7. Clean up billing details and all that fun stuff there. So, are there any other network engineers in here? Yeah, there's probably a few of them. All of you network engineers, head over to my forums, because I think when I click the stop button, the chat stops. So go meet over in the forums and keep the discussion going. So, all right, that's enough. I got to put this stuff back, put the devil back away. Devil's in the details. This is going to be like my little FreeNAS guy he's going to sit on the servers when I do the FreeNAS videos, I think. The ears were too itchy to wear. Their ears were cool, but they bothered me. So, hey, all right, thanks, and see you guys next time. Look for more videos. Hey, bye from Germany. Take care.